Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life Out Loud. I'm Junie Moon, your host. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm praying for good tech angels to be with us today. We've been having some challenges. This is the last hurrah webinar jam. If it doesn't work well, we're moving on. We're moving on. And you hear the giggles in the background. I have a wonderful guest today, but before I tell you who she is, well, you obviously know because you registered, but I'm not showing you her until I tell you a little bit more. So I'm excited for this show. We're gonna have a blast. We're gonna talk about some really great things. But first, I just want to let you know a little bit about me, why I do this show, and the opportunities here for you. So I am a certified shadow work facilitator and transformational coach. My passion, my deepest want, and my deepest joy is helping people get out of their own way so that they can manifest whatever it is that they're here to manifest on this planet. And this is so in sync with Allie's work, which is exciting to me. So yeah, I help people lower the volume of their inner critic and all the other voices in their head that keep them limited, keep them in self-doubt or shame or whatever it is that stops them. And I then help rise up that voice inside of them, that empowerment, that truest of true expressions inside of people so that they can really step out fully in their life. I work mostly with women, but I do have some wonderful men that come into my work with me. I do one-on-ones, I do workshops, I travel around the country doing retreats, and I do the show. So there's lots of different ways to touch on this work with me. And if you'd like to know more, you can go to innercritictamer.com. And for a short time more, you could actually pick up my ebook, which is How to Tame Your Inner Critic, for free right on the website. We're changing some things up. So if it's of interest to you, go get it later. Stay here now. And I created Life Out Loud because I not only wanted to hobnob with really, really cool, amazing people, but I wanted to bring forth some of the greatest messages that I see that are out there from people like Allie that are walking their talk, that are standing in their power, that are bringing amazing tools to the forefront to help people like you, like me, like everybody to live fully out loud. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up her bio and tell you who she is. Who is in the house? We have Allie Schueler in the house. Allie is a writer and an advocate for women's empowerment, supporting them in unleashing and embracing their wild feminine nature. Her mission is passionately providing women with experience-based tools that inspire life-changing awakening in the feminine, promoting emotional awareness, spiritual fulfillment, wild self-expression, as well as a connection to their bodies and their natural cycles. She enjoys writing and video blogging weekly, and she does that through her website, which is wildwomanspeaks.com. And she also does that through her community, through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So she is out there. She's on message. She's doing some great, great work. And so let's bring her up on the screen and see this amazing, gorgeous woman. Woo, there you are.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Junie. It's so exciting and such a pleasure to be here today.
It's so good to have you here. It's good to spend some extra time with you and to get to know your work more. I've been admiring what you do. I've been reading about what you do, and I had the pleasure of spending time with you on a journey recently. Guys, you might know that Allie and I went to England and Glastonbury, and it was the first time I met Allie, and we got to share some golden times together, didn't we?
Otherworldly, truly otherworldly. That was such an amazing adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. So so we've done different things in our life. We have similar circles of sisters and similar mission, and we have different tools that we're bringing forth to the world. And I just knew, Allie, that you were meant to be on the show, and I'm so thrilled that you're here.
Me too. Yay.
So a couple things, guys. Just want to let you know that the chat room is open. Please feel free to ask questions, chime in. I'm hoping you're just going to tell me the video quality is awesome and you hear us and you can interact with us. And if it's not, well, I'll find out sooner than later, I'm sure. crazy tech. Okay, so let's dive in. So Allie, you know, I see you as this amazing, young, vibrant, powerful, lots of adjectives kind of woman out there making a difference. And I would like to know, how'd you get here? How'd you get here? What's your journey? What have been some of your highlights, your greatest teachers? Give us an insight into who you are and how you got here.
Yeah. Oh, where to begin? Wow, I'm just like trying to narrow in on like where to even start. I think everything really began for me when I was quite young. I was around 18 or 19, and I really got into the whole natural health food sort of world. And I began studying herbs a bit and working with some herbalist teachers here in the Northeast. And I studied a bit of Susan Weed's work, and it was actually through connecting to some women in the Northeast here via sort of the route of herbalism, I got into the women's empowerment community and found our beloved sister Elisa Starkweather's work. And finding her work, going to her conferences and workshops and doing her programs, that really was a big life changer for me. So at first it was at a distance studying with her, and then studying with her on a more personal in-person basis. That was all really transformational for me, coupled with the teachers I was studying with in herbalism and natural health and all of this. So that was really the jump off point, and I got really passionate about sisterhood and connecting with other women and gathering women together through the women's empowerment work that I was doing. Just seeing how much it changed my life to be in circles with women where we are they're focused on healing ourselves and rewriting stories. And you were talking about working with the inner critic and shadow work and all of these sorts of tools and methods for just stepping into our truest sense of self and letting go of, I just always picture like it being an onion and like peeling back the layers that are keeping us disconnected from what's really true to us about ourselves within. So yeah, that was sort of where everything all began. And really doing Elisa's apprenticeship program several years ago, that was really like that was like where I really stepped out of like, I'm ready on the other side of this to bring out what I have to serve. Before that, I was that program really gave me the permission to realize my potential and see that I had things to share with the world and work to do with women, and gave me the tools and sense of confidence, I think, to step out and do that. So yeah, it's been a few years of me slowly stepping out more and more with my writing and work with women in person and whatnot.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
We have Susan Weed in common, actually.
Yeah.
I did an apprenticeship with her.
Beautiful.
God, 15, 16, 17 years ago, something like that.
Amazing.
And yeah, I mean, that's actually, you know, I mean, I've done a lot of different things myself in the transformational world, but being in natural medicine and the herbal communities, that really was a very great doorway into connecting to the earth, connecting to the truth of who I am in relationship to everything and everyone around me, and meeting cool people, especially like Elisa. Elisa I met in a different community, but they all just kind of intertwine, all these women and people that are connecting to the earth, wanting to rise up and make it a better world, but knowing that we have to do that inside ourselves, otherwise you know, not much is going to change unless we change what's inside ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that really was, I think what you noted about connecting to the earth and being attuned to the natural cycles and natural healing and whatnot. That thread, I feel like, has been woven through all the communities that I've been a part of, where I've been doing my own empowerment healing work. And yeah, that was like really, like, once I started feeling that desire to connect more deeply to the earth, that's really what I think sparked the desire to do more inner work also.
Yeah. What I love is that you well, I was telling you this before we got on, that you're a young woman. You know, I mean, I drool thinking, oh my God, I wish I knew what you know at such a beautiful young age, and that you're stepping so strongly into the work that you do, and having this journey to be able to embrace your inner power, your inner voice, and make such a difference in people's lives, and people that can relate to you because of your age. Not everybody's going to relate to me necessarily, and that you have a whole bunch of different women of all different ages, because you're really speaking words that are so powerful. I would like to know a little bit about the before, because you said it's these places have empowered you, helped you with your confidence in your writing. What was your life before you started doing this healing journey? And what really called you to actually step across that line and go, yes, I really want to expand?
I think I always felt this sense of smallness, like this inner, like I always felt very aware preceding this sort of like empowerment journey. I always felt this sense of smallness, like there was so much just inside of me bubbling and wanting to come out and come to the surface. And I didn't know how to, I just had this insane desire to like break through that, and really step into the fullness of who I was. And, another big life-changing moment that I wanted to bring in, that I think was as much of a catalyst as all of the empowerment programs and work and healing and workshops and all the things, was my brother passed away a few years ago in a really sudden and tragic accident. And that obviously changed my life completely. And that happened right when I was beginning to do some long-term apprenticeship programs and deep personal healing work and empowerment work. And for those things to simultaneously have taken place in my life really like catapulted me, I think, into where I am now, which is that I just began to note how fleeting life is. And it sounds so what's the word I want to use? It's like people say that all the time, like life is fleeting, but to like feel that sensation in my body of how little time there is here, and to see everything that I feel like I was robbing myself of and of experiencing in life through keeping myself small, because it was really self-imposed, that sense of smallness and not taking up space. That just really broke my world open, and it connected me to my ability to grieve, because I really didn't have a choice. It was like, this is one of the biggest losses I could imagine possibly experiencing in my lifetime. And it obviously, there was a huge amount of grieving to do, and there still is to this day, 3 years later. But it really broke me open to who I was, I think, because it was sort of this sense of, what do I have to lose now? I don't have anything to lose now. I've lost one of the greatest, people in my life. And so here I am, stripped down to nothing. Like, that's what sort of the sensation I felt, was that I had just been like taken down. Like, if anyone's familiar with Inanna's journey of descent, it felt like this like loss just like stripped me of everything, like around every corner, till I was left with nothing. And from there, it was rebuilding myself. And it was sort of like, well, what do I have to lose other than to be myself, and just be true to myself and live in a way that is letting my truest nature come out and come through. So that was another really big point. And I think, that was what took me, another piece that took me out from that sense of living in a small way, where my voice was muted and I didn't really feel safe to move my body in a free sort of way. And it was just this way of living where I felt like any natural urge I felt to say or do something, I would just mute it, you know,
Yep,
like,
yep.
you know, that sense of like having intuitive calling, even if it's as subtle as like, oh, this song came on and I really feel like dancing to it. It would be like muting myself around every corner and being like, nope, I can't take up space there. Nope, it's risky for me to do that. What are they going to think of me if I say that?
Exactly.
And all those things. So these experiences just sort of gave me the perspective of like, I don't have a fucking thing to lose at this point. Like, why not take up space? Why not be myself?
Yeah. Oh my God, there was so much there. So much you just shared. Let me think about where to go first. Well, first, I just want to say how sad I am for your loss.
Thank you.
I lost my dad at 14, and I know the impact it had on me.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about things happening for a reason, gratitude, and you know, happy that things happened because of what, you know, what's come of it, but not happy because of the loss. And I'm not happy my dad died. I mean, my God, I would do anything to have him back.
Yeah.
But the gratitude for the gifts that came, different scenario for me, but certainly
absolutely,
it blasted me wide open in a different way. And what I hear is that it really, you know, when you're brought to bottom, when you're brought to like, well, I am as raw can be, and what the fuck, I might as well just live fully out loud. You know, it's like that's what the show is about, is living life out loud. And what I hear is you know, you came to this point and you said, I'm doing it. I'm not holding back anymore. Because of that. And so I'm so sad that happened to you, but what an amazing gift that you took and used day to day, touching all these people. And I hear that there was a big part of you that kept you small, kept you down, your voice, your dance, your full expression, as I too. And, you know, in shadow work, we always say that, you know, if there's something that's being stopped, not only does it come out sideways and maybe perhaps in a way that's not healthy for us or others, but we're not living fully expressed. And it's painful, and it's painful. And so what I hear is, you know, you had this energy, that these voices that say, you know, who are you to be that big and bright or whatever it is. So having this loss, I mean, it was kind of your own shadow work process in a way to have you question these voices.
It really was. And I feel like you said, I would do anything to have my brother back any day, in any moment. I would do absolutely anything. And I always say that I feel like he's been my greatest teacher in my lifetime so far, because and I think he always will be, because he was that person that lived so fully and lived out loud and was like so loving and caring and one of the most compassionate, like big-hearted humans ever. And I think that when that loss happened, it sort of came to a place of, I'm now living for both of us, was my feeling. And I feel like I took the message to embody some of those characteristics of his that were so bright and big and beautiful. And I always share in this way too, with regard to my work, is that I feel like he is my sort of North Star in my work, and he is my guidance point, because I'm in this place of fierce commitment to showing up for the women of the world and helping them to live truly and powerfully. And he has helped me to do that, because he was my North Star of like, you need to step into this. And so in me being able to do that, I can now support other women in doing that too.
Yep, absolutely. You know, when you talk, I think about my grandmother. She lived to 97, and you know, I've been out there and being in the spotlight for a long time now, but you know, still pushing against the old wiring of, am I being too big, too bright? You know, what's going to happen? You know, being, you know, still risk assessing. Is this going to be okay? And I, you know, who am I to, you know, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
And I still you know, swim a little upstream, but I have my North Star, which is my grandmother, because she lived like this. She couldn't get enough out of life. And she lived vicariously through me those last 10, 15 years. And I would do something and her eyes would be lit up and she'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. So now that she's not here on this plane, I tell you, anytime I start to question or feel insecure, or am I allowed to whatever, it's like, it's like, Grandma, I need you in my heart, and feel her presence, because I'm doing it for her as well, as a testament to her life, to her brightness, and that, I took the baton, and I want to live fully, for me and for everybody else.
Yeah.
He supports me. I see a comment here. So let me just, first of all, hello everyone that's chiming in. And Kim, I'm glad you got a little bit better there. Let's see with reception. Kim, I can really relate to the yearning to emerge and express. That's good. I've been doing much shadow work myself and learning to come out of the shadows and come together in community, learning as a naturally inclined introvert to embody myself and to be present in new ways. Oh, thank you for that share. That's, coming out, being out in the limelight, being out with our friends, being out in community, being out with just our, our friends, and speaking our truth. We all come out in different ways. And who are we? And what does that look like? So introvert, extrovert, being true to ourselves. So that's a great segue into your work, Ali. How do you help women? What are the tools that you bring forth for women to do what Kim's talking about, to be able to come out of the shadows and to really embody, who they are?
Yeah. Well, the first is definitely sisterhood. The main thing that I do is I gather women in circle, both virtually and in person. So I think sisterhood is a tool. I always refer to sisterhood as like, I think that it's a nutrient that all women need, like referring to it as like in terms of like its medicinal qualities and values. It's literally a nutrient that I think that without having that in our lives, I think that just something is missing for women. And I know for me, and I say that because almost everyone I've come into contact with who has come into a sisterhood or found their sort of tribe of women, it's like this sense of coming home. And I had when I did Elisa's apprenticeship, as I mentioned, I remember having at one point early on this moment of like deja vu of a vision that I had when I was a little girl, where I was in circle with women regularly on a monthly basis. And it was this place where we could show up and be ourselves and not feel like we need to censor ourselves and just be the pretty and nice versions. It was a place where you could go up and be messy and raw and emotional or angry or ecstatic or incredibly joyful or like laughing our asses off, whatever it was just I was in this circle of women where I could do and have and be all of that. And I remember having that sense, when deja vu washes over you and you're just like, I've been here, or like, I've thought of this before, I've been here. And it was at one of our weekends together in this program. And I just remember that happening. I was like, wow, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like I've actually been waiting to be in circle with women in this way my entire lifetime. And after that, I just, I had the strongest inclination of like, this is my calling to gather women in one way or another, however it looks, whether it's online or in person, and whether it's a moon circle or a week-long retreat or a weekend or however long it is, just gathering women. So I host a virtual sisterhood group called Wild Feminine Unleashed, and it's a ongoing sort of virtual circle where we have a Facebook group and we gather there, and it's a lot of just day-to-day dialogue with one another on making use of the forum. And it's a place where, like I said, similarly, where women can show up just as they are. Doesn't need to be in a certain way. It doesn't look a certain way. It's a diverse group of women from all walks of life. And it doesn't have to you don't have to look a certain way or act a certain way. It's just, you are there with women, supporting women, celebrating women, and there to really heal our shit and look at our wounding and vent if we need to, and just have that safe place where we can show up as we are. So,
I love what you just said about Cece, because as you're talking, all I'm hearing is a safe container, a place
Yes.
where we have permission to be fully who we are, be loved, accepted, and seen for who we are, even if it's messy, even if we're angry. Because in our culture, how we've been brought up, all the messages we've received about how we're supposed to be, how we're not supposed to be, and how women are supposed to be, that we cut off these parts, and then we get really scared about being too much, being too big.
Exactly.
And so what I hear is you have not only had this experience of the sisterhood and having that premonition at such a young age that it even existed, because it doesn't really exist a lot around unless you're looking for it. I mean, thank God it's happening more and more. But that you've created a place, a safe place for women to just be. And how many places do we have in our life where we can really just allow ourselves to fully express ourselves? So that's just awesome.
Thank you.
By the way, you have somebody who said, I love listening to this woman, Kendra. Hi, Kendra.
Thank you, Kendra.
Inspiration. Thank you both.
Oh, that's so precious. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's so cool.
No, I think that for me, one really big process that I went through was just debunking the whole idea of what a woman needs to be like in society, out in the world. Because there's so many, whether it's subtle or overarching messages of how we need to look, how we need to behave, you know, we need to be pretty and nice and sweet and take care of the household, or whatever the theme is. It's all these ideas that keep us really small. And for me, one of the most transformational processes I've gone through is just being like really like questioning that. And when I feel myself coming up against a self-limiting thought, or feeling somebody imposing one of those ideas on me, whether it's a group of people, society in general, or an individual, really asking myself, like, who says I have to be that way? According to whom? And
good for you.
It's not a requirement. And try and unraveling that as it shows up. And so that's really what I try to do with women, in whether it's one-on-one work or in the group, is just as helping them to ask questions and release any ideas that they need to be any certain way other than what's true to them. So we do this in the online group, and then with the group there's all kinds of great things that we do together in there, with like weekly calls, and then we have retreats twice a year. So we meet in person, just this group. So women can come and go as they please at any time. And it's an ongoing experience. And I made it online because I feel, like you said, when you said, how many places do we have where we can go and just come as we are and just be ourselves, just be in whatever it is, whatever state we're in. I think that for a lot of the women who are attracted to this space, they're attracted to it because they don't have that in their day-to-day life. I feel so incredibly blessed that I have circles of women around me in my hometown and in the Northeast, in the United States, across the country, where I can go and I have these communities. But a lot of women don't know how to access those places, or don't have access to them.
They may not even know that they exist.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, we only know what we know. And one of the other things that you said, I think that is so important for everybody that's watching and listening, is asking yourself questions. So if you're not feeling comfortable, or you're feeling limited, you know, what's going on? What are we telling ourselves? Why are we feeling that way? To really start asking ourselves, where's the programming? Who gave us those messages? And is that really true? Is that really what we believe? So, oh my goodness, it sounds like such a magical place that you've created. And there's people around the country that are part of it.
And around the world too. We have women in Australia. We have women in the Netherlands. We have women in the UK. We have women I think in Southeast Asia we have somebody also, all over the United States. We have
so it's you know, that's you know, so it's like trickling out, you know, and to me that again is another reason why I had you here, because it's not just about the people you come in contact with which frankly, you know, with the climate of what just happened and this week and everything, it's like let's start there. Let's start there with who we come in contact with and what we're putting out in the world, and offering these opportunities for people to say, you know, it's okay for who you are and what you believe, but to really question, where did the beliefs come from? Because that is what shapes us, and that is what is shaping the world in everything that we do. You know?
Absolutely. I so stand behind that. And I think having the opportunity I wanted to make this available to women all over the globe so that it's an option. Because for some people, it's like having this sort of sisterhood connection. There aren't women gathering in this way in their local community. And so if that's the case, I wanted there to be an online platform, or if they can't travel easily to go and be with Women in Circle, I wanted it to be online so that it's accessible and they can easily come to it and be held there, and learn tools for creating their own circles too, so that if they want to create places for women to come and show up in this way that I have, they can do that in their local community and learn tools and take away pieces so that they can go out and create that for themselves if it isn't around them. Yeah. And I find that having multiple avenues for connecting with women in this way is so nurturing and special, because I love having my in-person
support. I mean, you know, there's this 24/7, you know, there's a lot of life that's happening and things, you know, whether we're juggling family or work or just all the things that are happening in our life, you know, we need that support, and women need each other. And I know for me, I find myself alone a lot, you know, in my office doing these things, doing my work. And it's like, you know, I'm going to a fire circle tonight to celebrate one of my sister's birthdays, and I can't wait, because it's been days, maybe maybe weeks since I've been in a circle of women, and it's another way to touchstone, you know, what is real for me, and to be able to celebrate our wild women. I'm curious. For one of the things you said was about being authentic and transparent. How do you teach that to your women, and what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, I just don't like to hold things back. And I think in how I express myself in my relationships, I just don't, it doesn't register well for me. When I feel any part of me being repressed, it's like I feel like a caged animal, and I just feel like I need to like break out of it. If I feel like I'm having an issue with somebody that I love, or just somebody in general, I want to clear it with them. I don't want to hold on to it. You know, I don't want to have things that I'm holding on to and repressing that are causing just inner turmoil. And I think when we're holding back any part of ourselves, there is some state of inner turmoil and like challenging. It's just challenging to orient around, because it wants to come out in some way. So for me, I really love to like live with my heart like open. I love to live like just I lay all my cards out on the table, and it's not for everybody. And I totally respect that, and know that for some people living more privately is their path. And for me, I just really love being open and sharing really openly. So I'm really transparent with my process and my life experiences. I share pretty openly about just about everything that I go through, because I think that is where there's so much learning when we share stories, you know, like when I hear somebody's story of their healing, or they're like coming into themselves, they're expanding, something heals, and I learn something in that. And so
I'm right there with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, like sharing openly like that and being really transparent in my process, especially in my relationships, and especially in the women's circles, but also out in the world. Like that's why I think something that attracts women to reading my writing is that I write really transparently, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm very honest, and I don't write in a neat and tidy way. Like if I'm grieving, I write my grief. If I'm angry, I write my anger. If I'm ecstatic, I write my ecstasy. I write it all. And so that's sort of just how I live in general. Like I don't hold, in my relationships, I don't hold back what I'm feeling. If I'm angry with my boyfriend, I tell him. If I'm like feeling like I'm like melting in a puddle of love for him, I tell him. in my sisterhood relationships, it's the same way. I let it all come through me, because to me, that's living the full spectrum that's available to us. So I'm
so right there with you. There's a reason you're on this show, and there's a reason I love you, because I love me, and basically I'm looking at me right now. It's all about me, really. It's true. I see you, and you're saying what I live. Because I did hide. I did hold. I was scared. I walked on eggshells for many years because I was concerned that, what would people think, or is it okay? And it was uncomfortable. And when we repress anything and we're not expressing fully, it's going to come out. And sometimes it'll come out as sarcasm. It'll come out as flash anger. It'll come biting, or maybe we bite ourselves and we start to feel horrible about ourselves. But that energy is going to move. And when we can truly relax in our truth, Brene Brown's work, she does so much about just relaxing, healing our shame, and embracing our vulnerability. When you or I share the fullness and don't censor, my opinion is we're giving other people permission to do the same. And also to start tasting and testing that spectrum of how much can I reveal? Is it safe to reveal? I mean, I don't reveal everything to everyone.
Completely.
And I choose carefully, because some things I would like to share. Frankly, I am willing to share anything. I really am. I am willing to share anything on any topic. However, if there's someone else involved, I have to be more mindful.
Same here. Exactly.
But it's so freeing. I personally I don't want to hide anything.
No.
I don't like secrets. And I too am in a relationship, and it's like, like what I might have held for weeks or months or years, and not cool. Now it's like, boom, I'm feeling it. Might need to process it. Hey, babe, we got to talk. Because it's a testament to my love for him. It's a testament to the people in my life that I'm willing to step out and go, I'm in pain, or I'm in joy, or I need, it's allowing people into my heart, and to have them see me fully. And I want women, and all people, but I work with a lot of women, and I hear this too. I want people to be able to relax and shine who they are, because then if they can truly step out with their gifts without being like so careful, what kind of world would we live in,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you brought up the piece about it being permission, like living fully and in that sort of open manner. It really does give one another permission, because one thing that orienting around jealousy and envy was a really big thing for me, because I remember when I was younger taking note of when I would feel jealous of another woman or feel envious of her for one reason or another. And at first it was immediate judgment. And I think that that's sort of a way of relating that's pretty common amongst women in the sort of the modern day times. Is like, okay, you feel jealous of her. Well, it's something she's doing wrong for sure. And when I sort of reframed that and looked at it as like, when I'm feeling jealousy, that's actually a mirror of what I'm wanting in my life. And when I'm feeling that sense of envy toward a woman, it's because there's something that I'm not letting out completely in myself, or something that I'm wanting to call in more of in my life. And so I think that the best thing that we can do is to live truly as ourselves, because even if somebody reacts with jealousy or envy, or they don't like seeing you being that way, for them, it's an invitation to look at that part of themselves and say, hey, where am I not showing up in ways that I want to? And that's been one of the biggest things, I think, in the communities of women that I've been building, is that we do give one another permission. We see one another showing up in a certain way, and it's like, oh, she is carrying my story too. Our stories they all are like conspiring, and they all are like interweaving all the time. And so when one woman steps out and shares herself vulnerably, the next woman is like, oh, I feel safe to do that, because I'm witnessing her opening her heart and sharing her heart. And so that's a big healing that happens that I see in both the circles that I'm a part of and the circles that I host. Yeah,
I'm always saying in shadow work workshops that we might be witnessing other people doing their work, and their stories might be very different than our story. and the themes are the same. The themes of,
Mhm.
are we going to be good enough?
Great.
Are we safe?
Yeah.
Am I bad?
Yeah.
Is this going to be okay? Like all these different
Mhm.
overall themes. And then we start to relate to each other. We get past the story, we get past the personality, and we can connect in a deeper way, because we're living the same way. We're
Yeah.
experiencing the same things. And by looking at each other and supporting each other, lifting each other up in that, that's where the healing is. I cannot friggin' believe what time it is. We just like zoomed.
Oh my goodness.
So I want to make sure you have a chance to let people know. Someone asked about where you might be having a retreat.
Oh yes.
She's pushing for Colorado, and and just so how can they find you?
Yeah.
Let them know what's out there, so that they can connect with you, and how.
Totally. Yeah. So everything wildwomenspeaks.com, that's sort of my pen name that I write under, which may be undergoing a transformation in the coming months. But for now, that's sort of the pen name that I author everything under for my writing. So I'm wildwomenspeaks.com, Wild Women Speaks on Instagram, where I share a lot of my writing. Also Facebook, same thing. And I have this online group, Wild Feminine Unleashed, that I mentioned, and that is really my biggest offering right now. That's my core focus. I really am not doing much else in terms of services right now, in terms of working with other women. We're about to have our 2-year anniversary. Tomorrow is 2 years of us being in sisterhood together. So again, women can join at any time. It's an ongoing, like, recurring membership sort of thing. You can cancel and depart anytime. And then we have retreats twice a year. So Kendra, to answer your question, we actually have our next one coming up in early February for this group, and it's happening outside of Santa Barbara in California. So
how perfect is that? She said West Coast, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be doing more women's retreats in 2017 that's open to just my entire community. But for now, I'm just offering retreats for the women that are in the online group. So my intention with all of that is we are going so deep online, and then we take that into the person, in-person experiences, and we're able to go that much deeper. And the beauty of that is that the thread of the online group is so woven that it's not like we're showing up to a retreat where we don't know anybody. We're showing up and we know all these women from online, and we don't have all this catch up to do of like, what's your story? Who are you? It's more of, nice. I know your story. Now we can really get to know one another. So it's really a one of a kind experience that, like, we can do it that way. So yeah, that's pretty much where to find me and what we can do. Maybe Australia someday, Alexandra. It's on my list for sure.
I see lots of travel for you, Allie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We have a few extra minutes before we have to close today. So I almost don't want to open up this can of worms with 4 minutes before, but something really big happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different emotions going on, without getting into specifics about who we wished was in office or whatever. Yeah. How I view it is, it's a time of change.
Yeah.
It's a time of waking up, and here we are talking about empowerment. We're talking about stepping up, stepping out, and having a voice. So I'm just wondering what you, in relationship to the feelings that people are having, the feelings of disempowerment, feelings of not having a voice, for or the people that got the results that they wanted. Yeah. How to take this work of getting out of our own way and being all of who we are, to manifest the life and dreams that we want, to have people fed, to have people feel safe, to have people have jobs, all the things, women, all the things, all the things that yesterday meant. What might you offer to people that are feeling a lot today around really staying on the beam of truth to who they are?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I'm personally feeling a lot of grief right now, and a lot of fear about the future. And I've just been sitting with that the last 48 hours and being really honest with myself about that, and knowing that it's time to roll up our sleeves and really continue this work in a bigger way than ever before. Because I think that you know, we're being called to action with what's happening in the world, and we need women rising in their power and speaking their truths and standing for what they believe in, I think, more than ever, 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 ever. And I think that there is some really tough irony in some of the fact of what has transpired with how, you know, we've made so many strides with not only women's rights, but human rights in a lot of ways. And there are some potential threats for that out there. And so with that, I just feel like it's time for us to be fiercer than ever in our truth. And to, like, as I was saying with my experience with losing my brother, it was like, I have nothing to lose. And it's like, you know what? We have nothing to lose at this point. We need to really commit ourselves to being our truest selves and speaking our truth and not hold back, because every voice and every action and offering and opportunity that exists for us to step into our power and really show the fuck up is like, needs to be harnessed at this point, really needs to be taken advantage of. So what I'm really encouraging women and people really to do right now in my own way surrounding the current events has been to make space for our emotional process. You know, like, I've just really given myself permission these last couple days to just grieve and feel what I need to feel, even if it's not particularly inspiring things right now, and know that that sense of inspiration to get back to work, to make change, to work toward what I want to see in the world, that is happening and will happen. But to make a lot of room for just our process around this, and know that it's okay to feel a little bummed out if that's what somebody's feeling. And maybe right now people are just feeling inspired and ready to like really dig in. And it's like, great, all of it is good. Just to really follow what's coming up for us, I think, is really important. And to just stay more focused and committed to ever than to doing the work. Yeah.
Well said. I love that you spoke to feeling what you need to feel. You know, again, we don't want to sweep anything under the rug.
No.
You know, if we don't allow ourselves to feel, it's going to come out. And this is about rising up, and this is about being true to ourselves and the world that we are wanting to create, not just for our country, but for the world. And, you know, wherever people are and whatever the beliefs are, I know in my heart of hearts, people want people to be safe, happy, you know, well-fed, you know, just we want a beautiful world. And so the world that we want to create, we have to, you know, we have to dig in. There is an opportunity here, and we need to stay awake, and we need to stay on purpose. And I love the word fierce. You know, fierce love keeps coming to mind. This isn't about hating more. This isn't about fear and shrinking. This is about really having a strong vision and staying awake and taking action, whatever that is, wherever you want to put your voice, wherever we want to support, whoever we want to support, in the name of a highest and best for everyone on this planet.
Absolutely.
So,
I totally agree. And I think having love as the undercurrent of that is so important, because that's really the motivating force behind all of it. So wherever somebody's heart and truth lies, keeping love at the forefront and the center of that in all that they do is the most important thing. And it starts with you guys. You know, love yourself, because if you don't have it inside of you, it's pretty hard to give out. So we're at time. I can't believe this. Ali, thank you so much for being here. You are truly an inspiration. Tell them again how to find you. WildWomanSpeaks.com. Everything is there. You can find me everywhere else.
WildWomanSpeaks.com. And yes, truly a force, and having lots of information to bring out there. And go to her website. You'll see so much. If you want to pick up the Inner Critic Taming book, To Tame Your Inner Critic, go to innercritictamer.com. Please share this with other people. If you enjoyed this show, let people know to go to lifeoutloudwithjunimoon.com. If you know people that you think would be great on this show, that are leaders and are making a difference and have a voice, this is the time we need to have people like Ali step out and to share their vision and the tools to help us stay real, because it is about being real. It's about being transparent. It's about being authentic, so that we really can shine our divine light and do the work that needs to be done to make this heaven on earth. And I believe we can have heaven on earth. We just have to start with ourselves.
Yes.
and clean up ourselves first, and then we can go out into the world and make a difference. So blessings to you all. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so
welcome.
great.
You are welcome, sweetie. All right, be well, guys, and over and out until next time. Bye.